go. This is your boy, Tone DeShields II. What's good from Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Sorry about the tardiness. Had to make sure I had my setup nice and clear. Had to make sure I had my ducks in a row. I appreciate you guys for locking in on the content as always. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys remain engaged in the content. You know, you guys really make this thing go. You guys really are a part of the show. So understand your power, understand what you bring to the table, and let's have some fun today. So it's Friday, January 6th, 12:18 p.m. Eastern time. And the word around town is Jalen Hurts is trending towards playing. That's the word around town. That's what I'm hearing. You know, it hasn't been made official because Nick Sirianni and you know, those guys, they love to play those reindeer games. But I believe Jalen Hurts is playing. I know it hasn't been made official, but I'm declaring it. I'm putting it out there right now. Jalen Hurts is playing. Why wouldn't he? Why shouldn't he? Why couldn't he? You know, he pretty much participated in every drill. You know what I mean? And look, I'm not saying the shoulder is not still sore, but who isn't sore at this point in the season, right? Those guys put their bodies through a lot. Those guys sacrifice a lot. Matter of fact, before I get too deep into the Jalen Hurts topic, update on Demar Hamlin, man. They took the breathing tube out. He's breathing on his own entirely. He did a Zoom call or a FaceTime call, I think, with his coaches and the team, man. You know, he's in good spirits. He's communicating. Cognitive functions appear to be intact, you know, so we're hearing. So, again, man, prayer does work. You know, God puts people in position. That's my perspective, right? You know, God works through people, you know, and those doctors did a hell of a job, you know, taking care of Demar, making sure he was good to go, monitoring him. And obviously prayer does work. I don't care what anyone says. That's just my belief. And I'm just glad that his family is able to keep him, right? Now, sure, there will be some things he has to work through, therapy, rehab, whatever process he has to go through to get back to normal function. I'm sure they're going to go through that. And so far, so good with Demar Hamlin. Nothing but good things to say about that situation right now. Again, love and prayers going to him, his family, and all the people connected to him. Now, back to the matter at hand. Jalen Hurts is playing. They didn't report it yet. They didn't make it known because we all know how Nick Sirianni and those boys play. We all know they love to make it interesting or keep it interesting. We get it. We know exactly how they move. But Jalen Hurts is playing. And like I said to you before, why wouldn't he? Why couldn't he? Why shouldn't he? This is a huge game. This is a game. This is a playoff game. If you ask me, this game has so much on the line. The number one seed, you know, that first round bye. I think the Philadelphia Eagles need the first round bye. Because if they don't have it, I don't see them going all the way. I'm just keeping 100% with y'all. I'm never going to lie. I'm never going to sugarcoat it. I'm never going to have the blinders on. Don't get me wrong. I'm rocking. Y'all see how I carry it. Y'all see how I move. Y'all can look behind me. Y'all know what's up. But I'm going to be honest. I just don't think if the Eagles don't clinch the number one seed, if they don't get that first round bye, I have a hard time believing they can run the table on the road. I have a hard time believing they can go down to Tampa Bay and knock Tom Brady off. Now, look, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have not been playing their best football throughout the entire season, but they're starting to figure some things out. And let's be frank about this. Once you get into the playoffs, your record means absolutely nada. Your record is finito. It means nothing. It's dead. This is a new season. Anybody can get touched. Anybody can win a game. Anybody can get hot at the right moment. And the Philadelphia Eagles haven't really been playing their best football. Meanwhile, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing the best football that they've played all year. Has it been inconsistent? Sure. But they're still trending in the right direction. They've clinched their division. They're locked into the 5th seed. Cowboys right now are in the 4th. Minnesota's in the 3rd. San Francisco's in the 2nd. The Giants locked up the 6th seed. And currently the 7th seed is still up for grabs. The Seattle Seahawks have a crack at it. The Detroit Lions have a crack at it. And also the Green Bay Packers have a crack at it. And the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions play each other this week. I think they play on Sunday Night Football, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be a huge game, all things considered. And it also depends on if Seattle can beat the Rams. That's going to be a fascinating matchup. Can the Rams upset Seattle? Seattle has not been playing their best football either. Meanwhile, Green Bay and Detroit, they're in their groove right now. It'd be cool to see Detroit back into the playoffs. You know, it'd be cool to see Green Bay in the playoffs. It'd be cool to see Seattle. You know, all three of those teams have been playing a behinds off. But if I had to really choose who I wanted there, just to make the path smoother for the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously I would prefer to have the Seahawks there. I think Detroit's offense is hard to deal with right now. I think Aaron Rodgers is getting back on track, and that Packers defense is playing its best football. You know, the thing is, no matter how you slice it, like I said, once you get into the playoffs, your record don't mean the damn thing. You don't want to meet Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady in the playoff situation. You just don't want that pressure on your defense. And we know how the Philadelphia Eagles defense deals with top-tier quarterbacks. They haven't really shown a propensity to limit those guys. Now, sure, the Eagles beat Green Bay earlier in the year, but I don't think they want that smoke again. Right now, at least. I'm not saying Green Bay's better, but their quarterback is legit. And I know Aaron Rodgers hasn't had the best history in the playoffs as of late, but that's still two-time back-to-back MVP. Same thing with Tom Brady. That's still the GOAT. You don't want that smoke right now. So it's imperative that the Philadelphia Eagles lock up the number 1 seed. And they can do so this weekend against the New York Giants. Now, the word around town is the New York Giants aren't going to play most of their starters. They had to play some starters, obviously. But the word around town is they're not going to play too many of their starters. I don't expect them to play Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley doesn't need to show anything at this point in the season. All he needs to do is remain healthy going into the playoffs, right? At least that's how I'm thinking. That's how I'm thinking about it. And Brian Daboll, he's a pretty aggressive guy. He's a prideful guy. He wants to make sure his team goes into the playoffs as confident as possible. They're going to try to win the game, but it's all for naught, really. It doesn't change the outcome of what their playoff seeding can or will be. So I fully expect the Giants to sit a lot of starters. This is the part of the season where you don't want your ego to dictate too much. You want to do what's best for your team. You want to do what you should do and not what you want to do. And that's what separates the good coaches from the bad coaches, especially once you get deeper into the playoffs. And that's what I'm concerned about the Eagles. I'm concerned that Nick Sirianni, Shane Steichen and those boys, Jonathan Gannon, I'm concerned that they will lean more so to doing what they want to do versus doing what they have to do. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Jinx Wolf in the building. Birdman 951, appreciate you. Also, shout out to my man Desert Eagle 90. One of the most fascinating, one of the funniest, one of the dopest, one of the coolest, one of the humblest content creators, Eagles content creators out there. Appreciate him as always. I remember the first time I met or had a conversation with Desert Eagle. It was one night him and Joey Shakes was live streaming. And this was early in my content creation days. I think this was in 2018. And it was a late night too. Him and Joey Shakes, shout out to my boy Joey Shakes as well. Desert Eagle 90 and Joey Shakes was doing a live stream. And then Joey and Desert was like, yo, bring up Tone, bring him up. And I'm like, word? They brought me up, man. We was talking football. It was dope. It was a good vibe. It was a real good vibe. And they showed me nothing but love, showed me nothing but hospitality. And I'll never forget that, man. So shout out to Desi, one of the dopest, one of the coolest, one of the truest to the game, man. You know, family man too. A true family man holds it down. That means a lot. Brother to brother, that means a lot. I ain't got no kids yet, so you know I'm just married. You know, me and wifey doing our, you know, non-parenthood thing. But Desert Eagle is one of the fathers of the year, man. Does amazing work. Does amazing work, man. As a matter of fact, he be doing content creation while he working, literally. I'm not sure exactly what Desert Eagle does. I think he correct me if I'm wrong, Desert Eagle. Are you you drive trucks, I think, or something like that, or you work for the city, if I'm not mistaken, Desert Eagle. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong. I don't know your life. You know what I mean? I don't know your life, but I remember saying Desert Eagle doing content from the truck, doing content while he driving, getting it in. You know what I'm saying? You know, doing his game streams, his live streams. You know, Desert Eagle's a cool dude, y'all. Real solid brother. Holds it down for sure. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate him. It means a lot to me. All right, bet. Solid. Truck driver local. Got you, man. Hey, listen, I know I got a lot of respect for people that drive trucks. I got a lot of respect for y'all because I ain't parking that bitch. I ain't parking that shit at all. Don't expect me to park it. Damn sure don't expect me to parallel park it. I need you to make sure the whole parking lot is empty so I can get that thing in the right spot. I got so much respect, so much love for truck drivers. Guys that got their CDLs and all that. You know what I mean? Even the guys that don't got CDLs, but they still drive big trucks, you know, maybe not tractor trailers but nonetheless, guys that drive trucks, like big trucks, those big bodies. Listen, y'all better men than me. I'll tell you that right now. I drive a Jeep, and I just got a Jeep not too long ago, and I'm still getting used to it. Granted, I learned how to drive in a Jeep, but you know, after I learned how to drive in a Jeep, I pretty much had sedans. You know, my first car, my first personal car was a Chevy Impala, 2011 Chevy Impala, cherry red, beautiful. I loved it. Transmission went on it. I moved on, got a 2019 Kia. Then my Kia got stolen in November of 2022. Got it back. Insurance got it. Insurance paid for it to get fixed. Once it got fixed, I traded it in. I got a Jeep. So now I drive a Jeep. I drive a SUV. So you know something nice. You know what I mean? Something that sits up. And let me tell you, I'm still getting used to it because I don't drive that much. I work from home. My wife do a lot of driving because she got to do her thing. But man, I got a lot of respect for truck drivers. I say all that to say I got a lot of respect for truck drivers, man. Y'all are the real MV mother effing P's. Oh man. But yeah, you know, this is a big week. We're not gonna sugarcoat it. We're not gonna act like it's not. We're not gonna pretend. We're not gonna be cocky about it. It is what it is. It's a really, really important week for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a more important week for the Philadelphia Eagles coaching staff because the coaching staff hasn't been consistent as of late. As a matter of fact, the coaching staff has kind of been mediocre. And I felt like they displayed a lot of hubris in that Saints game. They were very prideful. They were very arrogant. And Shane Steichen and Nick Sirianni, they took a lot of heat because the offense looked flat. Gardner Minshew looked like a fish out of water. Look like a fish out of water. Yo, Desert Eagle, you so right, man. The Kia boys got me. They got me, man. I was hot. But they found it. I moved on from it. I ain't playing around. I ain't playing around, man. I ain't playing around with the Kias no more. And the sad thing about it is the Kias, they drive so nice. They're reliable cars, man. They're good cars, but they so easy to steal. And the Kia boys is popping in Philly right now, if you don't know. Kia thefts and Hyundais. And Hyundai owns Kia. So I'm pretty sure y'all can put two and two together. Hyundais and Kias are at an all-time high getting stolen. So if you got a Hyundai or a Kia, listen, you better put a Billy Club on that joint. You know what I mean? What they used to call those? The steering wheel locks. Remember remember the old school steering wheel locks? You extend that joint, you put your key in, you lock it. And worst come to worst, if somebody try to get a little too uppity, somebody get a little too froggy, you could rip that joint out, and that joint was like a club, and you could whoop somebody ass with that thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember the old school, a club? Yeah, there goes a club. Remember them things? My mom had them back in the day. Oh my God, them things is crazy. Them things is crazy. Oh man, Desert Eagle. That's where I got my Kia from. I got it from Value Kia on if you're from Philly, you know where the airport at. Essington. I got it from out there. That's where Value Kia is. You know, they had back, I want to say in 2018, I did their cash for clunkers. And they pretty much gave me I pretty much gave them my Chevy, the cash for clunkers and all that. Yeah, Essington, exactly. Desert Eagle, you know what's up. Yeah, if you feel you know where that's at. That's not too far from the airport or whatever. But yeah, man. Yeah. I traded that car in, and remind you, with the Kia, I got it brand new. So I had, I know we're not talking football right now, y'all. We're gonna get into that. It's Friday. We're gonna, we kicking it. We taking it easy. We kicking it. We're gonna address a lot of the things y'all want to talk about. Don't get it twisted. You know what I mean? But I bought the Kia new, 2019 Kia. I bought it new. And I tell people this: when you get a new car, don't leave that place without gap insurance. Don't leave it without a service contract. Don't leave without gap insurance. Don't leave without being covered. I know the gap insurance, makes your monthly go up a little higher. It's a little bit, but it's worth it in the end. Get gap insurance if you buy a new car. Always get gap insurance. But I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all know that. And with the moment I traded that Kia in, I called Value Kia. I said, hey, look, I traded in this Kia. I need to get reimbursed for my gap insurance. I need to get reimbursed for my service contract. They said, no problem, sir. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, got a little check for trading it in. It's all good. But yeah, how do you guys expect Jalen Hurts to perform this Sunday? And again, they haven't officially reported that he will play, but we know he's going to play. We know this. It would be asinine for them to put Gardner Minshew in that situation. Gardner Minshew showed you 2 weeks in a row. He had 2 cracks at it. All he had to do was win one. Just win one of the games. And he couldn't do it. So there's no way I'm putting Gardner Minshew in the situation with my number 1 seed spot on the line. I'm putting in my best players, and we're gonna go in there and smack the Giants on the road. Well, at home, excuse me. We beat them on the road. I'm not playing around. I'm not playing with my food this week. This is a big game. This is a big game. You all good, bro. You all good. You all good, my brother. Don't worry about it. We always gonna get back on track. We got all the time in the world, Lord willing. So yeah, how do you guys anticipate Jalen Hurts performing? Right. As a matter of fact, let's go back to how he played in the Bears game. Let's do that. So, I mean, he didn't necessarily play his best football, but he played he played decent. So he went 22 for 37, threw for 315 yards, averaged just over 8 yards an attempt, no passing touchdowns, threw 2 interceptions, was sacked once. But he had 17 carries, 61 rushing yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. So the issue is the fact that he ran when he didn't really need to. Not saying that he ran when he didn't need to, but the coaches put him in situations that he didn't really have to be in terms of running the ball. They didn't have to do him like that, and that's why he got hurt. And Miles Sanders only had 11 carries. That's unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. So here's the thing. Jalen Hurts was able to rest those legs these past few weeks and get that shoulder right. And I think he's fine. I think the Eagles wanted to hold him out just for precautionary measures. We know how they handle injuries. They're real skittish about injuries. Even in the offseason, they didn't want to force guys to work any harder than they had to. They barely played any starters in the preseason, barely. So they're very cautious at the Novogratz complex, and I understand because the Eagles have been probably the most healthy team for the better part of the season, and now things are kind of starting to go off the rails. The hits are starting to add up, so on and so forth. But that's okay. Guys are getting healthy slowly but surely, and Hurts will be back this Sunday. It's a foregone conclusion in my opinion. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, he's back practicing. Robert Quinn is back practicing. So yeah, Eagles getting healthy. Still got to deal with the Lane Johnson injuries. Who knows how effective he'll be? Devonte Maddox, I think he's done for the year, if I'm being honest with you. All right, Delco Green, my man, what's going on? Also, make sure you guys smash that like button. I really appreciate all the love and support. Delco Green asks, Tone, if he plays, will the Giants play their starters? I don't know if the Giants are operating like that. What I mean is, I don't know if they're looking at it as, oh, is Jalen active? Okay, Daniel Jones, you're playing. Saquon, you're playing. I don't think they're moving like that. I think the Giants are actually focusing on their situation, really. I think they're focusing on doing what's best for their team. So I don't think Dayball is going to start guys because Jalen Hurts is starting. They're playing for two different reasons. The gravity of the game doesn't mean as much to the Giants as it does to the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Eagles got to play their starters. They can't afford to waste time. They can't afford to play with their food. Now, once the game gets to a certain point, if the Eagles are up by, double digits, they're up by 3 possessions in that third quarter, I think Jalen Hurts takes a seat. Excuse me, y'all. But yeah, I think Jalen Hurts takes a seat in that third quarter, going into the fourth if the Eagles are up by like 3 possessions. You know what I mean? I don't see the Giants coming back, especially the way the Eagles dismantled them with their starters in. Now, granted, they was dealing with some injuries in certain spots, but for the most part, the Giants couldn't hang with the Eagles in any shape, way, or fashion. So why would they be able to hang with them at this point in the season, especially when they're resting guys for the playoffs? I fully expect the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game, but they've let us down before. Granted, Jalen Hurts wasn't there. And Jalen Hurts is the kind of guy that leads the team the right way. He provides a spark with this Philadelphia Eagles team that just Gardner Minshew isn't able to provide. Gardner's he's a okay quarterback. I don't think Gardner Minshew was a terrible quarterback. I don't think he's terrible. I don't think he's awful. But I don't think he's top 25. I think Gardner Minshew could be a bridge quarterback on maybe 5 teams in this NFL, possibly. I'm not saying he's a long-term answer or a starter. He's not that dynamic. He's pretty mediocre in most categories, but he's serviceable. And he doesn't, obviously, these past few weeks hasn't been his best. He's not prone to making bad decisions or mistakes with the football. So I think the team just plays different with Jalen Hurts. I think we all know that. I think we all acknowledge that. Jimmy Garrity, welcome to the show, my man. I appreciate you for locking in on the content. If you're new, please make sure you smash that like button, man. I appreciate you as always. As a matter of fact, I think you're subscribed, if I'm not mistaken. Jimmy Garrity says, "Yo, Tone, you see the difference when Hurts plays the who? Wait, Garrity, can you clear that up for me? Yo, Tone, you see the difference when Hurts plays the whole team upstairs. Oh, yeah. Got you, Jimmy. Got you. Yes, they do. They just respond to him. And we saw that when Carson Wentz got benched, remember? That was a pretty big moment, too. Carson Wentz got benched. Jalen Hurts came in, and all of a sudden, the guys started playing better. I don't think that's random. I don't think that's random at all. Will Kelly, what's going on? I appreciate you for locking in, bro. I've been good. I've been well. I appreciate you for showing love to me as always, locking in on the content. Don't forget to hit that like button. It means a lot to me. But I've been doing well, man. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to all y'all. If I haven't had the opportunity to say it to you yet, or we haven't crossed paths yet, uh, in this YouTube multiverse. Happy New Year to y'all. Happy holidays. I hope everybody had a safe Happy New Year. I hope nobody received any bad news. Hope everybody brought it in safely. You know what I mean? But yeah, this has just been this. Let's really think about this, man. This season has been pretty exciting, hasn't it? I know some people had the Eagles. For me personally, I had the Eagles going 12-5 this season. I had the Eagles winning 12 games. That was my prediction. And now they're in position to win 14. They're in position to go 14-3. And I'm telling you, I knew they would be better, right? I knew this team would be better. I knew Jalen Hurts would be better. But I didn't expect Jalen Hurts to be this effective. I didn't expect him to be this good. And I don't want that to sound like a slight. Some people like to twist your words these days. But I don't want it to seem like a slight. I did not expect Jalen Hurts to be this good. And I'm at a loss for words when I think about it. Will Kelly says, Happy New Year. We need to start off a little better starting Sunday with our birds. Yeah, man, the Eagles gave us a shitty Christmas and they gave us a crappy New Year, didn't they? Jimmy Garrity says, I think the team rises to play on Hurts' level. Hope Hurts drops bombs so he can shut up the haters. Oh, yeah, man. The sad thing about the Jalen Hurts narrative, the sad thing about the Jalen Hurts saga is that he's a real good dude. And he's so likable. And you just got some people who just dog him. Dog him, man. And look, being a nice guy doesn't pay the bills. Being a nice guy doesn't win championships. Let me make that clear. But how can you root against him? It's people who genuinely root against him. And I always question their mindset. I don't care what team you root for. If you're easy to root for, you're easy to root for, man. Like, y'all might find this blasphemous. Y'all really might find this blasphemous because it's a rival team. But Cowboys aside, if I put on my blinders and forget that this player plays for the Cowboys, I like Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott is easy to root for. But some people don't believe that. Rivalry aside, football, I'm being unbiased right now. I'm being objective. I think there are some players who are easy to root for, and there are some who are just, I personally think Dak Prescott is easy to root for. Are there any players in the NFL that you guys that aren't Eagles, but you guys are like, they're easy to root for? I just like that guy. Even if it's on a rival team. I ain't judging. You heard what I just said? Are there any players in the NFL that you guys look at like, that guy's easy to root for, man? I want him to be successful. I want him to be successful. Jimmy Garrity says, I think, I read that already, my bad. Sticks Green, what's going on, my man? Jimmy Garrity says, Hurts took a Josh Allen jump. I was happily surprised to see Hurts jump in always, make that jump in always in his game. Got you. Yeah, Jimmy. He made a leap and so he checked so many boxes at one time. So many boxes. Will Kelly says, too arrogant for my liking, Tone. You talking about Dak? Oh, you talking about Josh Allen? Oh, wait. Will Kelly, you talking about Josh Allen or you talking about Dak as far as being arrogant? Six Ring says DK, as in DK Metcalf. I feel that. I see what you mean. I'm trying to think of another player in the NFL that's he's just easy to root for. Trevor Lawrence. Like, I like Trevor Lawrence, man. I like Trevor Lawrence. He's easy to root for, in my opinion. Joe Burrow. You know what? Joe Burrow, he's just too cool, man. I don't know. He's too cool. He he's just too cool. And I don't know if that makes me uncomfortable or if I like it. He's just too cool. Will Kelly says, I'm talking about Dak. Guys that are easy to root for, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Yeah, Sticks Green. Lamar Jackson is very easy to root for. Very easy to root for. Will Kelly says it's just swag. He said Dak is just swag. That's all it is. Oh man. But yeah, Joe Burrow, he's just too cool, man. He's too cool. And like I said, I don't know if I like it or if it makes me nervous. I don't know why I'm laughing so hard at this, man. It's like Jalen Hurts. Like, he's so cool. He too cool for school. Like, you know, like think about your favorite early 2000s flick, the cool guy, right? Like matter of fact, think about those classic movies that got the jocks, but it's always that one jock that's just cool with everybody. You know, he's not a bully. You know, he's just cool with everybody. That's what those guys remind me of. Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts are very similar to me in their mindset, how they carry themselves. They're just cool customers, man. And I think that's dope. But yeah, you know, it's a lot of guys in this NFL that's very easy to root for, man. A lot of guys that I wish nothing but success. Stephon Diggs. I think Stephon Diggs is easy to root for. I, I'm a big Stephon Diggs fan. I'm a real big Stephon Diggs fan. Other than AJ Brown, Stephon Diggs is my favorite wide receiver right now. Other than AJ Brown. Obviously, AJ Brown's an Eagle. That's my guy. He's number one. But Stephon Diggs is my favorite wide receiver, not named AJ Brown. As a matter of fact, tell me your favorite wide receivers in the NFL, not named AJ Brown. Who's your favorite wide receiver in the NFL, not named AJ Brown? I'm not talking about who you think is the best. Let me make that clear. I'm not talking about who you think is the best. Who's your favorite wide receiver in the NFL, not named AJ Brown or Devonte Smith? Jimmy, you cheated. You cheated, Jimmy. You got to give me somebody else. Who's your favorite wide receiver in the NFL, not named AJ Brown or Devonte Smith? I'm trying to make it harder for y'all. I'm trying to make it harder. Stop cheating. I should have said no Eagles involved because y'all a little biased right now, and I get it. So I need y'all to pick somebody else, Will. Jimmy Garrity. I need y'all to pick somebody else. Who's your favorite? And look, again, I'm not talking about who's the best. Just who's your favorite wide receiver? Maybe you like how they play the position. Maybe you like they swag with the position. You know? Maybe you like their like how how they approach the game, man. Maybe you like them off the field. Maybe you like they swag. Maybe you like, just how they talk, the way they move. You know, I'm a Diggs guy. I'm a Stephon Diggs guy, man. Flat out. Flat out. You know, matter of fact, since we're talking about wide receivers, man, is this the best wide receiver duo in Eagles history? AJ Brown and Devonte Smith. Is this the best wide receiver duo in Eagles history? Because this is the first time the Philadelphia Eagles have had two 1,000 wide receivers, two 1,000-yard wide receivers in their history. It's never happened before. Sticks Green is a DeAndre Hopkins fan. I like Hop. I like D-Hop. I like Nuck. I like Nuck. Will Kelly says, no question. I would have to agree with you. Uptown Sports 215 says, since Macklin and Djax or Djax. Okay. So since Macklin and Djax, AJ Brown and Smith better than those guys. And I'm a Macklin fan. I love Jeremy Macklin. When we drafted him from Mizzou, I was like, bingo. He just dealt with little nagging injuries, but I think Macklin was a really good pick, a really solid draft pick. DeSean Jackson obviously was a hell of a draft pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. But I think A.J. Brown and Devonte Smith is the best wide receiver duo the Eagles have ever had. I know the OG is going to bring up Harold Carmichael and Mike Quick. I know they're going to bring up those guys. I know they're going to bring up Irvin Fryer. I know they're going to bring up those legends. I know they will. But, man, A.J. Brown, Devonte Smith, they're just so dominant. Harold Carmichael was dominant too because he was just a freak. He was like 6'7", 6'6", playing wide receiver. He was just a big dude, you know. Sometimes they labeled him as a tight end on the damn depth chart, but he was a wide receiver. But AJ, man, his approach to the game, Devonte, their approach, they're just lethal, right? They're just lethal in the way they approach the game. They're so lethal. And I personally think A.J. Brown and Devonte Smith are unguardable, especially with Jalen Hurts throwing on the rock. Don't you guys think it's not just a coincidence that they both had their best seasons with Jalen Hurts making this jump? You dig what I'm saying? It's no coincidence that Jalen Hurts is having his best year and A.J. Brown and Devonte Smith are having their best years. It's not a coincidence. This is not by accident. A.J. Brown is having a career year. Now, I'm pretty sure he's taken his game to another level. He's gotten smarter. You know, he's been healthy all year, which I think is a first in his career. Devonte Smith, his second season in the NFL. You know, his rookie year, he broke DeSean Jackson's rookie receiving record. Not by much, but he broke it. And these guys are just having amazing seasons under Jalen Hurts. And I will say this, even when Jalen Hurts wasn't in there, A.J. Brown and Devonte Smith showed up. Even without Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown and Devonte Smith showed up because that's what playmakers do. That's what ballers do. The best wide receivers get it done no matter who's out there. Now, I'm not taking nothing away from Jalen Hurts, but I'm just trying to give A.J. Brown and Devonte Smith their flowers as well. Some of the best wide receivers get it done with whatever opportunities they get. You know, Devonte Smith been cooking these past few games. As a matter of fact, I think Devonte Smith, if I'm not mistaken, Devonte Smith got like his fourth 100-yard game in the past 5 games. Let me look at this real quick. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, in the past 5 games. Devonte Smith has had 9 catches, 115 yards, 8 catches, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 catches, 126 yards, 5 catches, 64 yards in that Giants game, 1 touchdown. And in the Tennessee game, 5 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown. Devonte Smith has been lights out. Devonte Smith is getting hot at the right time, at the perfect time. And then A.J. Brown, man, do I really got to talk about it? Against New Orleans, 4 catches, 97 yards, a touchdown. Against Dallas, 6 catches, 103 yards. Against Chicago, 9 catches, 181 yards. Against New York, against the Giants, 4 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown. Against Tennessee, 8 catches, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. Against Green Bay, 4 catches, 46 yards, a quiet day because we ran the ball a lot and he had a touchdown. You know, he's just been electric. Electric, man. Those boys been playing out of their mind, and it's not by accident. It's not by accident. Make sure you guys smash that like button. I appreciate you guys always. Will Kelly says they made each other better. Hurts is MVP because of them. Facts, man. Facts. Ryan Rowe, what's going on, my man? Sticks Green says top 10 wide receivers. Hey, A.J. Brown is top 5 in yards, and Devonte Smith is top 10. You have 2 top 10 wide receivers, and you have a top 5 and a top 10. Let's call it what it is, right? We ain't gonna sugarcoat it. We ain't gonna shortchange our boys. You feel what I'm saying? We not going to shortchange our guys. Devonte Smith ranked 9th in the league in yards with 1,129 receiving yards. A.J. Brown is ranked 4th in the league in receiving yards. And what makes it so cool, they're both averaging double digits per reception. That's the dope part about it. A.J. Brown's averaging almost 17 yards a catch, and Devonte Smith is averaging almost 13 yards a catch. Now, obviously, A.J. Brown has been the big play guy. He has 11 touchdowns to Smitty's 7 touchdowns on the season. But, those numbers make sense. Those numbers make sense with A.J. Brown being the number 1 and Devonte Smith being the number 2. But Devonte Smith is a number 1 in any offense. Let's make that clear. He's a number 1 in any offense. In any offense. Michi, what's going on? Jimmy Garrity, it's great to have 2 different types of wide receivers that complement each other. Smitty getting better every year. I think in 2 years, Smitty will be one of the best in the NFL. You know what's so crazy? Some people think, and this isn't blasphemous, some people think in the next couple of years, Smitty might be better than AJ. Some people think that, and I'm not gonna kill them for that at all, because they're 2 different types of wide receivers. They approach the position in 2 different ways. Obviously, AJ Brown is more physical. Devonte is a bit more finesse, more technical, a little bit more fundamentally sound. But what makes AJ Brown so special, and he picked this up from Randy Moss, having late hands, not showing your hands too early, which allows the DB to track the ball and swat it easier. Having late hands, and then Devonte learned that trait as well, having late hands. Excuse me. Ryan Rose says Devonte Smith has got hot at the right time. He's playing smart. He got to 1,000 yards. He's one of the best wide receivers in the game. Facts. Will Kelly says our double moves will be vital in the playoffs. Big plays waiting to happen. Yeah. I know a lot of the time people always say, "Oh, the Eagles got to look out for this team. They got to look out for that team." Teams got to look out for us. Teams got to look out for the Philadelphia Eagles. You got Jalen Hurts back there, and you got A.J. Brown and Devonte Smith and Dallas Goedert. I didn't even talk about Dallas Goedert, who's having a quiet year because he missed like 4 or 5 games. But you can make an argument Dallas Goedert probably would have got 1,000 yards too. You could probably make that argument. If Dallas Goedert didn't get hurt, or if Jalen Hurts didn't get hurt, you can make an argument that Dallas Goedert would have had 1,000 yards, if not 1,900 yards. They was snapping. We could have had 3 1,000-yard playmakers, receivers, and A.J. Brown, Devonte Smith, and Dallas Goedert if Dallas Goedert didn't get hurt. It's very possible because Jalen Hurts is on fire. But, injuries happen. It's a part of the game. You got to live with it. D. Aldridge, my man. How you doing? Hope all is well. Hope all is well, my man. So, Jalen Hurts coming back for this Giants game. And again, it hasn't been officially reported. So far, they're saying he's trending in the right direction. Nick Sirianni and the coaching staff, they're playing those reindeer games. They're exercising the ultimate level of gamesmanship. and they're saying he's trending towards playing. Let's not play around with this. Jalen Hurts is playing against the Giants. And I'm curious to know what you guys think he's going to look like coming off of that shoulder injury. I think he's not going to miss a beat. Jimmy Garrity says Smitty makes them D-hop-like catches, and he's nice after the catch too. Yeah, that's a good point, Jimmy. Smitty is starting to come out or starting to catch fire in yards after the catch this year. He's starting to make it pop in that regard. And Smitty, he's so like long, like his arms are long. He kind of reminds me of Marvin Harrison, like his build. Will Kelly says, I just hope we don't get too pass happy Sunday and in the playoffs with all the analytics. Yeah, I think it's going to be important for the Eagles to lean on the running game. And look, I know we don't talk about this much, but I think this is something that needs to be talked about. Miles Sanders is not going to be here next year. He's not going to be here. He's not going to be here next year. Sorry, you guys. Got to handle these business. Handle this business, excuse me. But yes, Miles Sanders, I'm sorry, y'all. He's not going to be here next year. I don't see it. He's having a career year, and running backs got to get their money. I'm never going to be mad at a running back for trying to get paid because they lay it out on the line, man. And Miles, he's earned it. He's earned it. I think he benefits from having a guy like Jalen Hurts next to him. I do believe that. But, I just don't think he's going to be here next year. And because I know that, if I'm Harry Roseman, because I know that, and I probably know that as well as Nick Sirianni, I'm going to run him into the dirt. I'm going to run Miles Sanders into the grave, And I mean that respectfully. I don't want to trigger anybody. Will Kelly says, oh, wait, I read that already. See, I'm getting caught up. Michi says, I think he'll be rusty the first series and then turn it on the rest of the game. I think that makes sense. Jimmy Garrity says, Nick always says a bunch of nothing in press conference. I can't even watch. Yo, Jimmy, you know what's crazy about that? You bring up a good point. He says a lot of nothing now. There used to be a point where I used to look forward to a Nick Sirianni press conference. Seriously, there was a time where I used to look forward to a Nick Sirianni press conference. Now they're not listenable. They're not a good listen anymore. It's just not a good listen anymore. And I'm not saying I don't like Nick Sirianni. This ain't really got nothing to do with him personally. It's just he's not saying much, man. He's so cryptic. And it's annoying. It's annoying. I understand not tipping your hand, but man, sometimes Nick Sirianni just look like he reading a ransom note. Michi says, don't be surprised if how we draft a running back in the draft this year. Oh, no, he's drafting a running back. It might be in the 3rd or 4th round, but he drafted a running back. Will Kelly says, think Sermon gets a shot next year? He might. That's it. I'm glad you guys brought that up. Somebody else brought that up too. I can't remember who it was, but Trey Sermon, I think Trey Sermon deserves a shot. I think Trey Sermon should have been getting snaps because I think he would add a different element to the running back room. I really believe that. He's a physical power north-south one-cut running back. He's a very physical runner. You want to know the last time we saw him was in the Jags game, and his first touch, he ran it for a first down. Just looked strong, looked fresh. I think the Eagles need to activate Trey Sermon for the playoffs. And deactivate Boston Scott. Actually, yeah. Because they're not going to see. Here's the thing: they're not going to deactivate Kenny Gainwell. They're just not going to do it. Kenny Gainwell is their third down back. They love using Kenny Gainwell in the passing game. That's Nick Sirianni's not going to do it. But I personally think the running back room should be this in the playoffs: Miles Sanders, Kenny Gainwell, Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon is a power back and can get all those short yardage for you, and you'll take pressure off of Jalen Hurts. They need to get creative. They need to do what they have to do and not do what they want to do. Will Kelly says, you know why? Because he know they're going to ask about injuries the whole presser. I get it. I get it, Will. But look, the injuries aren't a secret. They aren't a secret, man. It's not a secret. I just hate how, like Jimmy said, he says a whole bunch of nothing. And I'm not coming at him. I'm a Nick Sirianni guy. The coaches got a lot of pressure on them. A lot of pressure. I know we haven't really talked about the defense that much. So let's talk about the defense now, right? What are your biggest concerns about the defense going into the playoffs? What are your deepest concerns about the defense going into the playoffs? Because even though Jonathan Gannon, by the numbers, is a good defensive coordinator, I still am skeptical about his philosophy. I'm skeptical about how he deploys the DBs. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like he doesn't allow his best cornerbacks to do best cornerback things. Like Darius Slay is not a passive corner. You know, like it's just I don't want to. My bad. I got distracted from Castro, man. Shout out to my boy. Shout out to my guy Philly the podcast, man. He funny as hell. he said I'm getting tired of you having better hoodies than me. I want that study and never stops, John. You got no cap. Matter of fact, that's what I'm gonna do, Castro. When I get a chance, I'm gonna find the Instagram page where I got it from because I got the study and never stops hoodie from a pop-up shop. A young Philly entrepreneur, a young kid, a young guy in high school. He got a clothing line called Studying Never Stops, and he making waves in the city. So what I'll do is I'll send you the link to the Instagram page on Twitter, and I'll because I'm not sure if they deliver, like mail. Like I'm not sure. I mean, his brand is getting pretty big, so I would imagine he has a website and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I'll do. I'm going to find the Instagram page for you, and then I'm going to send you the link, and then you should be able to order something from the page because the brand is dope, the message is dope, and it's a young guy too, young kid in Philly. I think he got to be 14, 15, young kid. Got his own clothing line, doing his thing, man. A positive message. So yeah. What are y'all biggest concerns going into the playoffs on defense? Defense specifically. What are your biggest concerns going into the playoffs on defense? Castro says Janarius Robinson is a guy to watch for this postseason. If he's a special teamer or actually sees time on defense, he can make some big plays. Yo, fill me in on Janarius Robinson. Is he a DB or is he a defensive lineman? I remember we picked him up from the was it the Vikings? I can't remember where we got him from. Somebody remind me who Janarius Robinson is. Somebody remind me. But I'm looking forward to a Robert Quinn sighting. You actually might see Robert Quinn play this Sunday against the Giants. Because, again, we don't know when Josh Sweat is coming back. We just don't know. It's a neck injury, and you got to tread lightly with those things. We got to tread lightly. And I just think, okay, he's a defensive end. Philly podcast, my man. He said he's a defensive end out of Florida State. He's a strip sack specialist. We got him off Miami's practice squad. Got you. Will Kelly says DN Minnesota. Minnesota. Okay, got y'all. Will Kelly's DN from Minnesota. So yeah, I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all smash that like button. We got 20 people in the live chat. You guys are doing amazing. You guys are really helping this show move along. Remember, you guys are a part of this thing. So hold me down and I'll hold you down, right? Will Kelly, one of Will Kelly's biggest concerns is pressing the receivers. I feel you, man. I need the DBs to be more physical. We need to dictate the pace. We saw what happened in the Saints game. Jonathan Gannon made an adjustment. The corners were playing closer to the line of scrimmage, and then the defensive line was able to get home. You see, even if he has a concern about getting beat over the top, you pressure corners, and you have the pass rush to get there in time, so they don't beat you over the top. You have the pass rush. That's what I don't understand. And look, I do also get the fact that when Chauncey Gardner-Johnson went down and Devontae Maddox went down, your DB room got weaker, and you didn't really trust certain guys in man coverage. That makes sense to me. But you have the pass rush that plays in the favor of press coverage. If Darius Slay and James Bradbury play closer to the line of scrimmage, and I know James Bradbury is more so a zone corner than a man guy because he doesn't really have the speed to keep up with the fastest of them, but he's a very savvy corner, very physical, and if you allow those guys to play their game and you couple that with a pass rush from Haason Reddick, Javon Hargrave, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat when he comes back, Robert Quinn, if he can provide a spark, you know what I mean? Even Milton Williams. If you can combine that, man, the Eagles are dangerous. Will Kelly says, right, just imagine if we play aggressive all game. D. Aldridge says, let's slam Bradbury do their thing in the playoffs. Absolutely, man. This is a time where you got to just let it rock. You can't be passive out here because these quarterbacks are going to pick you apart. Philly, my biggest concern is third down and turnovers. We haven't been as consistent with turnovers, and we've been having trouble getting off the field on third. That's a very, very good point. I completely forgot about third down. We've struggled, and that's what makes it more annoying. We've struggled on third down, but to take it a step further, Castro, we've struggled with keeping offenses out of third and manageable. In that Saints game, they lived at 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, even 3rd and 5. They lived at 3rd and 5 and better. And that can't happen continuously. Even if it does happen, if you're in a 3rd and 5 situation, I still think you can get off the field. Because 3rd and 5, that's a passing down. In this NFL, if a team is at 3rd and 5, they're passing that ball, right? That's my logic. So I'm playing close to the line of scrimmage. I'm sending my dogs to go hunt. Straight like that. But third down has been a huge issue. Jimmy Garrity says C.J. Gardner-Johnson should go in the slot and have Epps and Blankenship at safety. I like that personally. That's my preference at this point in the season, right? You don't have Avonte Maddox. And Avonte Maddox is your best slot corner outside of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I personally think you got to get the best players on the field. Therefore, you put CJ in the slot. He has more experience playing in the slot than he does at safety. But he's shown that he can be productive at safety. But you put him back in the slot, you put him back where what he does best, where he's allowed to be physical, allowed to talk trash. Oh yeah, you put CJ in the slot, you leave Reed Blankenship and Marcus Epps at safety, and you live with the results. I think Reed Blankenship has been decent. I think he's been decent. He was an undrafted guy, and he's only going to get better. Marcus Epps, he's been decent. Will Kelly says we were top 10 in third down too. Yeah, we were. D. Aldridge says Patrick Robinson would have been clutch right now. Man, Patrick Robinson was so clutch in that playoff run last, in 2017, 2018. He was so clutch. Every QB in the playoffs, first read will be Josiah Scott if we don't. That's an absolute fact, Will. Every team these past few weeks, ever since Devonte Maddox went down, Josiah Scott he's been the guy they targeted. He's been the guy. The Saints and the Cowboys, they did not hide it. They made it very clear they're going to attack the seams. They're going to attack the slot. Even Kaiser White has been struggling in pass coverage, and that's what he's known for. He's been struggling in pass coverage. I know a lot of people want to think it's TJ Edwards, and I'm not saying TJ Edwards is the best coverage linebacker because he's not. He's not. He doesn't have the legs. He's more of a run. He's more of a run stopper. He understands angles. He understands leverage. He understands depth. But Kaiser White, I think he's been more of the issue in pass coverage, and that's his specialty. Jimmy Garrity says, "Is it just me, or is Kaiser White suspect in coverage? I'd love to see some Dean at linebacker when he plays a little bit. You can tell Dean is one of them ones." I like the way that sounds, but Jimmy, let me push back a little bit. Don't you think it's a little late in the game to try to throw Nakobe Dean out there? Don't get me wrong. I like Nakobe Dean. I love Nakobe Dean, actually. But I don't want to put him in a compromising situation. It might be a little late to throw him out there at this point. It might be a little late. But tell me what you think about that. Will Kelly says Maddox went out and CeeDee Lamb started cooking. Did he? He went out, he started cooking. Like cooking ain't even the word. My man had a soup kitchen. He was going crazy. My man was a sous chef back there. He was whipping a brick. Look at her wrist. He was going crazy back there. The moment Maddox went down, Dak Prescott started cooking. Jimmy Garrity says Josiah Scott has been barbecue chicken. Yo, Josiah Scott been barbecue chicken. He been buffalo chicken. He been sweet chili chicken. He been curry chicken. He been jerk chicken. Like Josiah Scott been everything. But he had a bounce back game. I want to give him credit. I don't want to seem like I'm dogging him. He bounced back in that Saints game. Granted, we lost, but he bounced back. He had an interception. He played all right. When he was targeted, I think he gave up less than 30 yards receiving. He was all right. You know, you see, the thing about Josiah Scott is when you start him or when you play him, he plays better when he knows he's the starter. It's kind of like Andre Dillard. They play better when they start the game versus just throwing them in there if somebody get hurt. You know? Will Kelly says, Josiah Scott bites on everything. He needs more eye discipline too. I agree. But would you guys also agree that he does a lot better when he knows he's the starter? You know? That's at least that's what it looks like to me. It looks like whenever he has to go in unexpectedly, he's not the same guy. But when he actually knows he's the starter, when he has time to prepare, he looks a lot better. He looked a lot better in that Saints game than he did in the Cowboys game. Granted, Andy Dalton and Taysom Hill are not on Dak Prescott's level at all. No, not even close. Not even close. I think Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback. A lot of people may not believe that. I think Dak is top 10. That's just my 2 cents. But regardless, Josiah Scott, he bounced back in that Saints game. Can it carry over to the Giants game? Right? Can he get more confident? And then maybe you could put CJ back at the safety. But again, I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. It all remains to be seen. I just know I want the best guys on the field at any cost. Jimmy Garrity says, yo, you might be right, but what if we get the award-winning Dean at backer? Man. Yeah. Man, I don't know, man. It's shaky, right? I'm not saying you wrong, Jimmy, but you do run a risk. Just throwing that rookie out there, you run a risk. You do run a risk, man. Will Kelly says, I don't want him to have to think. Just hold a clipboard or something. Castro says, you know what's crazy? Is the Philly defense has only played 303 snaps of 1,109 without a lead. Damn, for real? Most of where the hell you find that? That's a hell of a stat. The Eagles have only played 303 of 1,009 snaps without a lead. That's crazy. That's crazy. So is it fair to call this defense front runners? Is this Eagles defense front runners? I'm asking y'all now. I don't believe that, but because of this stat, this is a very interesting stat. Does this stat make the Eagles defense front runners? You know, it's very interesting to think about. I do agree. I think the strength of this team is the offense, but that's this NFL. That's the 2022 version of the NFL. That's this decade's NFL. Offense trumps defense. We're at a point now in time where great offense beats great defense 8 times out of 10. 8 times out of 10, great offense beat great defense. Maybe 7 out of 10. Maybe I'll be a little bit more friendly to defenses. Great defense beats great offense beats great defense most of the time. Will Kelly says Philly with the analytics. EC1, what's going on? He says Eagles going to win. Hurts is the MVP. Well, I do think the Eagles will win. I actually don't want Jalen Hurts to win the MVP. I want that Super Bowl MVP. I don't want Jalen Hurts to win the regular season MVP because it's cursed. Some people may not believe in superstition, but I firmly believe that league MVP award is cursed. Give me the Super Bowl MVP. I'll take that. Will Kelly says, no, JG has made adjustments at times. At times. He's shown at the later half of the season that he's capable of making adjustments. I will give him that. Not much, but he tries. Jimmy says, yo, Reddick has been going off, and you don't hear anything about him. He's only 1.5 sacks behind Bosa. Talk about it, Jimmy. Jimmy, it's blasphemous to compare Haason Reddick to Nick Bosa. It's blasphemous. So they say. It's blasphemous to compare Haason Reddick to Micah Parsons. It's blasphemous. So they say. But let's keep it funky. Haason Reddick has been playing all-pro football. Matter of fact, that's a good topic. Is Haason Reddick an all-pro this year? Will Haason Reddick get his first all-pro? He has 16 sacks on the year. He has a chance to lead. He has a chance to end the season leading in sacks. Let's say Nick Bosa just has a okay game, right? He gets 1 sack. Because Nick Bosa has 17.5 sacks. Haason Reddick has 16 sacks. So let's just say Nick Bosa has an average game, right? With 18.5 sacks. And he gets 1 sack. And he ends up with 18.5 sacks to end the year. If Haason Reddick gets 2.5 sacks, he can lead the league in sacks. If he gets 3 sacks, excuse me. If Haason Reddick gets 3 sacks, which I don't know if he will, but he might. You never know, man. The Giants don't have the best offensive line. It's getting better, but it's not the best. If Nick Bosa doesn't get a sack, which I doubt, and Haason Reddick gets 2, he'll lead the league in sacks. It's possible. It's a long shot. But, has Haason Reddick had an all-pro year? Should he be considered to be one of the all-pros? Talk to me, y'all. Will Kelly says Reddick might get he about to get 3 this game. D. Aldridge says yes. Will Kelly says absolutely. Ryan Rose says yes. So a lot of y'all think Haason Reddick is having an all-pro season. I can't argue with that. He's second in the league in sacks behind Nick Bosa. He's only behind him by 1.5 sacks. That's not a crazy deficit. You want to, and also y'all want to know why Haason Reddick don't get talked about that much. And we'll start to close the show on that note. Y'all want to know why he don't get talked about that much? Because he played for the Eagles. I firmly believe this, right? If Micah Parsons played for the Eagles and Haason Reddick played for the Cowboys, nobody would care about Micah Parsons. I'm not taking nothing away from Micah Parsons' talent or skill set. This isn't about talent. This is about optics. This is about perception. If Haason Reddick played for the Cowboys and Micah Parsons played for the Eagles, nobody would care about Micah Parsons. Even if he was playing the exact same way, nobody would care. I believe that. I do. I really believe that. And some people might disagree. That's perfectly fine. But I firmly believe if Haason Reddick and Micah Parsons traded places, if Haason Reddick played for the Cowboys and Micah Parsons played for the Eagles, nobody would care about Micah Parsons. They wouldn't care. As a matter of fact, they'd be saying Haason Reddick is better than Micah Parsons. And I think Micah Parsons is a bit more versatile than I think he's more versatile than Haason. But I just think Haason has been more productive this year. Jimmy Garrity says, yes, Reddick got at least 2 sacks, maybe more. He's a strip sack machine. Abso-freaking-lutely. You see, the way Haason Reddick is playing, that's the kind of guy you need in the playoffs. That's the kind of guy you need in big games, right? The way this defensive line is playing, man, we need to ride them all the way to the Super Bowl. Because y'all know why we won the Super Bowl, right? Obviously, Nick Foles did his thing. But the Eagles' pass rush came alive when it mattered most. And most of Haason Reddick's sacks has come on third down, has come in crucial situations. He's clutch. And I'll leave it at that, man. I really appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me today. You guys have been really locked in on the live stream. You guys have been really active. I don't take it for granted in any shape, way, or form, man. Make sure you guys continue to smash that like button. If you guys are watching the show after the fact, I appreciate you guys just as much. Make sure you guys continue to just stay patient and keep the faith, right? Keep the faith. Your Eagles are still one of the best teams in the NFL. Don't let nobody tell you different. The Philadelphia Eagles are still one of the best teams in the NFL and arguably the best team in the NFC. Had they been playing their best, have they played their best football these past few weeks? No, they haven't. They haven't. But like I told you guys a few days ago, all it takes is one moment, one opportunity, one game to rewrite your narrative. All it takes is one game to rewrite your story. That's all it takes. So the Eagles have an opportunity to come back, beat the Giants, get the number 1 seed, and do their thing. Are they dealing with injuries? Yeah, but so is everyone else. And I know Lane Johnson is out. Man, I know Lane Johnson is hurt more than anything. I know he's hurt. He's going to be limited. But you still got Jordan Mailata, Jason Kelce, Isaac Samalu, Landon Dickerson. This offensive line is still legit. Still legit. I know they got that stat where it shows the Eagles' record with Lane Johnson versus without Lane Johnson. That stat is a bit misleading, if you ask me. And I'm pretty sure there were so many other variables that had something to do with that. But overall, don't lose faith in this offensive line. This offensive line is still one of the best in the NFL. Still one of the best. And the Philadelphia Eagles are still one of the top 5 teams in the NFL. And, in my opinion, the best team in the NFC. Have they played like it the past few weeks? No. But I think with Jalen Hurts coming back and doing his thing, man, oh man, the sky's the limit for this team. And I'll follow Jalen Hurts anywhere, and I'll follow that man to war. I'll follow that man to Baghdad, and it's straight like that. I'm your humble host, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. One love, stay humble, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay hungry, you guys. And peace out.